Hello, how are you? Unmute. You're muted. I can't hear you.
How's that?
Good.
Better? Okay.
How are
Sorry,
you?
I'm good. I haven't used Zoom before. I usually use the other one, Skype.
Well, I am Opus Night, and there's a reason, a very good reason I'm actually came in costume tonight. I wanted to ask, actually, we're going to start the show off with you giving your name and tell us about the wonderful book you've written.
Okay. My name is Carrie Brown, and I've written 2 books. The first one is going to be re-released on the 24th. It is Origo, Son of Darkness.
Ooh, beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. And it is a fantasy, a high fantasy, epic fantasy. Go hand in hand here with this one. About a boy raised by dragons, sort of like Mowgli, but it's a nurture over nature. He's destined to be evil, and this family is doing everything they can to fight that destiny by raising him right as best as they can and keeping his darkness a secret. So it's a matter of we all have darkness in us. It's what we do with it that matters.
Exactly. And how long have you been writing?
Since December, around the 1st of December 2018.
Okay, and is this your first book?
This one is, yes.
You must have had a wonderful time with it.
Yes, I definitely had a lot of fun. When I wrote it, I actually wrote it all the way up through chapter 10 of book 2. I just didn't know it until I was done. I was like, oh, that's a bad place to end. Let's move it back there.
Right. Well, the reason I'm wearing this, I know there's others that are supposed to join us. If not, we're good, you and I. Well, do you dress in character when you are writing or for any of your characters per se?
I guess I keep one of my characters. He's not even a main character, but I keep his personality all around me, but I wouldn't say that I necessarily dress it, other than I tend to wear my nostalgic shirts.
I see that. I love it.
I have a whole set of them, different stuff from Rugrats to Jurassic Park and It and a few others that make me think of he's kind of a sidekick, but sometimes he's my favorite.
Oh, I bet.
He's the one from the 90s who fell back in time with all these people in the past, and so he's always throwing Jurassic Park references and Tombstone 90s references out, and no one gets it but the reader.
Right. Now, how long before you decided did you ponder like writing a book, or is it something you've always kind of had on the back burner?
Actually, I'm kind of an oxymoron. I wrote a book when I'm not even really much of a reader. I like to read small things, short things, mythology, and I'm kind of an info browser. So research is my favorite thing to do when it comes to writing. But the story has been with me for 20 years, and it's been nagging at me for 20 years. And I did want to write it, but it was really my husband that gave me that push to get it done.
Oh, we love him. That's awesome. Now, you have Game of Thrones on your wall?
Yes. And Zelda and, Skyrim, is it? I think. I'm not sure.
I see. Very nice. Is there any certain type of writing that interests you that you in the future might kind of be drawn to actually pursue? Because right now you write fantasy. Is that what you have it as? Okay.
Yes. You mean other things that I would like to write, other genres? yes, I have a true murder story on the tip of my tongue. But there are members of my family who want me to wait until the person responsible has passed. He's 89. So they really want me to wait until he's passed away before I write it. So I guess I'm not in a hurry on that one.
Mhm.
And the other is a paranormal, because I live in the town of Watsiko, where the Watsiko Wonder happened.
Huh.
It's about 2 blocks from my home.
Really? For those who don't know about it, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. It is the first documented possession in America. Of course, that's subjective to whether or not you believe in possessions, but it is the first documented one. It was it was a doctor who documented it, and I can grab it.
Awesome.
And what happened was,
Okay.
E.W. Stevens is the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
There was a girl who showed what we would probably call today epilepsy, but they didn't know what that was back then.
Right.
And she would have fits, and during these fits, she would also take on other personalities. And when they sent her to an asylum once, and in the morning that they were preparing to send to the asylum for a second time, they found her dead in her.
Ooh.
You froze. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
It was several years later, 13, 14, a couple, quite a few years later, a girl across town came down with similar symptoms. And one day, she woke up and said her name was Mary Roth and she wanted to go home, but her name was Lorancy Venom. So she was taken in by the Roth family, claiming to be their daughter. For 100 days. She did not eat nor drink while she healed the body of Lorancy Venom and visited with her family. And then after 100 days, Lorancy returned as the conscious owner of her body and went home and never had a fit again. So
possibly either, as you said, it could have been epilepsy, could have been schizophrenia, or we have no idea. It's just the fact that they took it as a possession.
Yes. And whatever it was, it killed Mary. But when Mary came and took over the body of Lorancy, she lived and never had a fit again. So it's a contrast of the differences between the two and their fates.
Right.
So.
And you had said the gentleman it's his family? Is that?
The house still stands 2 blocks down. And there's a gentleman who owns it. His name is John Whitman. He and his husband live there. And I believe it's still a bed and breakfast. It was, but I'm not sure during COVID if it's still functioning.
My heavens, you live in an interesting neighborhood. Now,
yes.
do you have any fear about any of the goings on or stories or anything that kind of goes with? Because I mean, I know that certain places, just from history, like has become historical. This place was haunted or is haunted. This place is possessed. This place,
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you have tourists and things that are coming to your town?
Oh, yes. There's been a sci-fi movie. There's been, it's kind of like a documentary type movie.
Mm-hmm.
We've been on America's Most Haunted. And they have regular seances down there at the house. It's been completely refurbished to its original glory. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I was allowed a tour of the house before and after the repairs. And I don't so much have any fear. Because it's not like I'm staying in the house overnight alone with nobody near me or any. Mm-hmm. I guess that might intimidate me. I might be like, oh, maybe if there's $1 million on the table.
You'd have to call me.
Yeah.
That's in my neighborhood. I write dark literature, so everything, like I'm so intrigued, you know? But I think that's awesome. Now, what character out of your book right now, and say the name again?
Origo, but the actual proper Latin pronunciation is Origo.
Oh, pretty.
But we say Origo all the time, so.
Was there a character that kind of drove you nuts, or are they all your favorite characters?
My villain, he kind of drives me nuts because well, he wants to kill them faster than I want them dead. So I need him for a couple more paragraphs. Just one more chapter, please.
Everyone, I am laughing because this is precisely what happens. You will go through and write, you'll have, no matter, I'm not an outline person. However, in my mind, I have exactly people, place, and things that need to be, precisely at that time, and where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be wearing and this, that, and the other. It happens all the time. That's probably one of the biggest, it's really interesting once you've written the story, but going through it, it's like, okay, I need to back off because, this person can't die till literally, act 6 or 7. And, or I try to put someone together and I'm like, why are they together? This is not how they should go. No. Back off. And then you go through it again. But now in writing, do you find that there's certain words that keep popping up, or do you have certain sentences or certain things that, like, elements that become repetitive to you in writing?
One of them is looked. He looked to see the car coming straight at him. I can just say that the car was coming straight at him. So look to see is one of them. Mm-hmm. And comma, then. He went to the store, comma, then he went to the bank. Mm-hmm. So comma, then is one of my bad habits.
Yeah, there's a little sticky things that we end up putting. Commas are every author that I've spoken with, the commas and the adjectives are the big, pain in the butt.
Oh yes, adjectives. Yeah. Yes.
Whole lot of fun. Now, are you supporting the book? Where can we find it? On like Kindle, or where are you doing your social media as far as supporting the book? What platforms and whatnot?
So it's on Amazon. Right now, you can, when you pull it up, you'll see the first edition, which says temporarily out of stock, and it's going to stay that way because I don't want anybody to buy the first edition when I just revised it. Gotcha. So the second edition will release on February 24th in ebook, and I'll submit the paperback that day so that it has the same metadata as my ISBN from Bowker's, and that'll be available as soon as it clears their system.
Now, did you do a lot of research, or did you do a lot of research for the book?
Yes, lots. It's got the Anglo-Saxons, which I keep everything exactly as written, and I only put my fiction in the holes. In the holes. Sorry, that's my Mikey character coming out. And I have the Roanoke people. And so I very carefully researched them. And there was also a gentleman from England who reenacts historical stuff, and he helped me with some of it, with the exact precise name of the guns that they would have used, with what kinds of dogs they would have had at their side, what kind of clothing they would have worn.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Even the expressions that they use. And I took one of those expressions and made it my own. It's hagborn whelp. And basically it's, you're an ugly child, or you're the child of an ugly woman. Well, I kind of related that to son of a biscuit. And so I don't know if I didn't want to curse on your show.
We're late night. It's okay.
Oh, okay. So I made up the expression whelp of a hag. Whelp of a hag. So that's one of, kind of like in Game of Thrones, they say 7 hells.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So how long do you think before this book that you have out now, how long or are you working on another book right now, presently?
Yes.
know you said that you were going to wait on the one book, but do you see a sequel in the future for this, or are you anticipating anything that you might want to let us know?
Well, book 2 is right on its heels. I finished writing it on May 1st of last year, and I've just had I've hit some snags with editing, but I'm on the right track now, and I'm pretty sure it's in that final quarter before the finish line. It felt like it was before, and I felt like I had jinxed myself. So I'm not promising any dates right now, because I feel like if I do, I'm going to miss that date. But I am hoping that the friend who's helping me, we're both confident that we should be able to get it on the shelves by before it's a year old, May 1st.
Now, do you edit your own work?
I hired an editor, and I got screwed. So I lost $940 on the edit, and PayPal does not protect digital services.
Mm-hmm.
So since editing is a digital service, PayPal did not protect my purchase, and so they turned down my claim. So I was stuck fixing it myself. I subscribed to Grammarly, mm-hmm. and that got me pretty close to ready. And
it's
an
amazing program. I know a lot of authors who actually, before they go to an editor, or just if they edit themselves and they know, they're pretty on the ball with it, they'll end up applying the Grammarly or what is the other one? ProWriterly. I think ProWriterly is another one. Pro Writing Aid, that's what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, but I mean, they're wonderful programs.
Yes, but I don't keep it subscribed all the time. Mm-hmm. I unsubscribe when I'm in the writing process, because I don't stop to edit. I don't have time to stop to edit. My characters I got to keep up. So I'm a pantser completely. I have no idea what's happening next. Sometimes I kind of have an idea of where I'm aiming. I have an idea of where the story lands at the mm-hmm. end of each book, but how I get there usually surprises me.
Do you have any advice for anyone, like a newbie that's coming into writing? Anything that you experienced that you can kind of stray them away from?
If you can get in the right groups where authors are friendly, a lot of times you can find a critique partner or another author who's willing to swap with you and do edits. And that's the best way to start out, because if you start out throwing money at people, you have no basis for comparison as to whether or not you're getting your money's worth. Mm-hmm. So it's best to try it yourself first and see how far you get. And then when you do pay someone to do it, try to learn from the mistakes that you made because eventually you may be able to get most of it done yourself if you try to take all that in.
That's one of my biggest advice, kind of for anyone just starting out. Do what you can do now, you know, and getting it out there is I think one of the most important parts. If you have multiple people that you trust that can read over what you have applied, you can always revise things.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know a lot of authors that'll come on and they'll revise things multiple times, you know, and that's the beauty of it. You know, as long as you're like the Library of Congress, if you actually put it through there, then it gets kind of touchy that you have to keep up with the dates and things like that. It becomes very touchy. I know
Yes.
authors who've had a lot of difficulty with that, but I mean, most of the platforms like Amazon, I know KDP, you can pretty much change anything. You have that course of action that you know.
Well, there is a limit to how much they'll let you change. I was going to just upload the new version of book 1 without changing anything and keep the same ISBN. And it was rejected because it had a 10,000 word change. Now, I didn't take anything out of the book. I didn't change any of the details. All I did was condense the language, like from he got back to he returned. I cut one word there. And so I did that throughout the book. And by the time I cut out all the redundancies without changing the story, I had lost 10,000 words. And that required a new ISBN through Amazon. So there is a limit to how much you can change before they, but you can always come out with a second edition.
Oh, definitely. Well,
and Fiverr is a lot safer to use than PayPal paid services, because Fiverr will protect you.
I thank you for letting them know that, because there are, you definitely check the guidelines, because I do know there are a lot of, most of the time it's technical difficulty that people have just trying to put their books and put their books on Amazon or KDP basically. And they'll end up, like, Facebook is full of that kind of thing happening, where they're like, it just won't accept my book. It'll accept it. You just kind of got to go over the guidelines again, because certain things they're very particular on certain things. Now, did you do your book cover? Did you design the book cover, or how did that come about?
So I designed the illustration in the center. I sent it to it was a stick figure that I drew. And I gave it to my illustrator and I said, this is basically what I want. And I sent him a copy of the map, because that is actually the map of the area that the story is happening in, is on the cover. And he did a black and white full sketch, and then I took that to another illustrator who colored it in. So that cost me, I did all that on Fiverr. That didn't cost me very much. And then I hired a book cover person to place that. I just said, I'd like to have dragon scales if I can. And the final product, though, he came up with, the corners and the font and the rest of that.
Very beautiful.
And then I took that and I adjusted it the way that I wanted to and made my own cover for book 2. It's identical. It just has a different colors. It's white scales.
Did you, on the blurb, did you have any problem writing out a blurb? Because that seems to be the most impossible thing. That's what I find easy. The hard things I find easy. It's the easy things that'll get me every time, where I'm like, where did this come from? But your blurb, do you want to read a little bit about the book so they can hear about it and know?
Sure. When Inko and Gray witness the brutal slaughter of a Dayran village, they intervene, but they can't save everyone. A young mother is struck down in the fray, and in her final waking moments, she pleads with them to protect her newborn son. In no time, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary boy, as if being raised by human dragons isn't unique enough. Young Jack begins to show abilities no dragon or human has ever had. What's more concerning is the darkness that grows within him and the looming prophecy that it carries. As Jack grows, his family does everything they can to keep his true identity a secret and raise him to be a good man. He must learn to control his inner darkness, for it is said, we all have darkness in us. It's what we do with it that matters.
That is awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
And see, dragons, people love stories about dragons. So that's why I wanted you to read it, because I know that'll get them.
The best thing about my dragons is that they are not beasts, nor are they pets. They are a society, a very civilized society with their own hierarchy and their own government.
Oh, that is beautiful. They're going to love it.
And no wings. They have no wings.
No wings.
They're lung dragons.
Oh, nice. Well, I thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. Everyone, have a beautiful night. Thank you.
Thank you.